What's going on, everybody? Happy Friday. BobbyFi here to do my 5 and 5. Not our greatest day ever yesterday, but we're ready to get back after it today. I like this slate a lot. Fortunately, it's my daughter's birthday, which is wonderful. She's 16. Happy birthday, Kay. I am coming up to Santa Barbara to see her from LA. So I will be live 6 Eastern, but I'm going to be probably from like a Starbucks or something on my way. And I will be in Discord the full time though, and we can go through everything. Anyway, let's get right to it. Let's get to the plays of the day, because it's an interesting slate for sure. And I think that there's a lot of ways we can go, but these are the guys I've got targeted as of right now. So Devin Booker, obvious, going to be chalky. I like it against New Orleans. Doesn't even matter. Without Chris Paul, we see how much the ball's in his hands. I also love, he's got a 7.5K prop, a 7.5 assist prop bet today. I love that bet. The over, love the over yesterday at 6.5. Let's make sure to get in on that, because he does have the ball in his hands a ton, and it just feels like the whole offense is running through him. I also like the matchup against New Orleans. They don't need to overtalk this one. Booker is an awesome play on both sides, and I think everybody knows that one. I'm going with LeBron over Luka, who I love on DK, which feels like a little bit wrong. The 1,200 savings were just enough to get me interested, especially without as much glaring value today. I really like that whole game environment. I think there are 3 games you should target. I think it should be Charlotte, Toronto. I think it should be Orlando, Houston, and I think it should be the Lakers and Clippers. That's the 3 ones that I would be the highest on. Love LeBron, and I think that he's going to have a very big night tonight. I think he'll end the season really strong too. Also love Westbrook on FanDuel for his price, so I think you can make an argument for either of these guys. 8,500 is a little much for Westbrook on DraftKings with the way it's been, but I do think he's got a ceiling he could put up at 7K for sure, and I think he's even got a ceiling at 85. But I love LeBron either way. I have Zubac / Kennard. You could include Nick Batum in this mix if you want to. You could include Terrence Mann, Reggie Jack. All the Clippers are interesting. The problem is it's hard to figure out the rotations. But I love Kennard shooting upside against the Lakers, and they've really leaned on him more. 4K is just too cheap, so I want to get exposure there. I love Zubac, great historically against the Lakers, and has been getting more and more runs. So the only time he hasn't really gotten a run is when they've been in the part of blowing somebody out. And then you've gotten the Hartenstein thing. So I actually really like him tonight. I think this should be a good game. I like the Lakers to win this one. But Zubac and Kennard are my favorite Clippers, and to put Batum just behind them for the price, assuming more value doesn't open up. And I think you can late stack today too, as much as possible, in case there is some news. Siakam as who I put on my DraftKings one, but I really feel like all of Toronto and Charlotte are interesting, especially the Toronto side. I think you could play just one Raptor, but I think that it's like Siakam is the best one to me. I don't mind if you want to go Van Vliet. The other guys are just much better priced on FanDuel, so I would get my Siakam exposure on DraftKings, and I would play the other Raptors on FanDuel, as we'll get to in a minute. And then you've got this whole range, this Vassell, Burks, and Cam Johnson. I like them all a similar amount. I guess I would give Cam Johnson and Vassell the shooting upside burst, but then you have Burks, and you don't know, without Kemba being in there anymore, exactly if it's going to go all to Burks or Grimes or quickly we'll get in the run. My guess is Tibbs is going to try and close this thing out strong, and they're going to try to play put their best effort, which probably means Burks for me. So I like all 3 of those guys. I'm using all 3 in some lineups for value, but I think they're all very close to being equal plays. Cam Johnson, again, the shooting upside, same with Vassell, has been over 30 basically every game but one with the current situation, and he's 5K. And then Burks is 4,900, a little more speculative, but really like him. So those are my DraftKings core plays. On FanDuel, OG Anunoby, I don't mind that he crushed me the other time and put up like 7 fantasy points, and I don't even know how that happened. He played a million minutes, so it just didn't make any sense. But I'm happy to go back to him at 5,400, and I love Fred VanVleet at 8K. I give OG the edge, though, if I had to pick one of them, and they're different prices and different positions. But there's a ton of point guards that are viable. I love Luka, who's not even on this list, because there's so many guys in the mid tier that I love. But Luka is another great play, so don't forget about him if you're playing multiple lineups. Devin Booker, obviously going to be a staple on both sides, might be in all my lineups today, not playing as much because I'm going up to pick up my daughter, but I think he's an awesome play. Mo Bamba is the same price on both sides, and his minutes they might be in flux. I think there's a massive ceiling for him. I also love Wendell Carter tonight. I just didn't include him on this list because it's, you can only pick 5, but I love Wendell Carter. I love Bamba. I think you could even play them together a little bit. I also think it might open up Sengun for the Rockets. Christian Wood also a strong play. So I really like this whole situation we've got here in Orlando, between Orlando and Houston. That could be a wild game. Eric Gordon might be on my DraftKings list too if I was really sold on that he's starting and going to get the minutes. They have done that with him when he's played. but it just feels like at some point they go to the young guys, and maybe Sengun gets more minutes in the double big lineup against the bigs of Bamba and Carter. Kyle Kuzma is, again, with Booker, probably like the closest thing to a cash game type of block. I love both of those guys, and I think he's just way too cheap. I don't care that he had a bad game the other day. I hope that keeps some people off of him. He's got 50+ upside in this matchup against San Antonio, and they sort of run everything through him. So I really like Kuzma here in this matchup. Love Westbrook at 7K. Clippers matchup, his old teammate Reggie Jackson. They have used to get into it on the court. You don't need extra motivation for Westbrook, but he kind of has to do his thing a little bit more with Davis, who's going to be out. And even as bad as he's been and as bad as the Lakers have been, he's still not like that bad for 7K. And I think there's a definite 50+ possibility. And I'm wondering how many people actually go to him. So Westbrook, this should be Westbrook / Reggie Jackson. I like that combination. I like both of them on FanDuel at 7K and 6,900 respectively. And I think that they both could put up a monster night. I really like that game again, that Lakers and Clippers game. It also allows you some pivotability at the end. You can throw guys like Dwight Howard in the mix who are going to be played, but you should use them as value. And then we might find out Dwight Howard's not playing, but just have some shiftability so you can, okay, then we can switch to Batum and so. You know what I mean? There's enough in the late games where I think you can do that when we find out starting lineups. The only problem is there's only one fully late game, but there's a few games at 9 Eastern, and then there's the 10 o'clock Laker Clipper game. But that is the way I'm treating this slate. I hope everyone does really well today, and I will be with you as much as possible. And let's crush it today, guys. And we'll see you at the top of the leaderboards. Good luck, everybody.